Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Manan and Shobit, for joining us here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's tell you a little bit about Prozeal. It's a company that is helping corporates go green. In a way, it is the decarbonizing partner for many corporates. And as Madhav called you forward-thinking innovators, I'd like to tell our viewers that they entered into this renewable energy space in 2011, the time when we were just talking about it. So firstly, picking up from the last conversation, I want to ask both of you, what was the problem were you two trying to solve when you entered into this space when we were just talking about going green in 2011? Manan.
So when we started, actually there was, when we see the problem, all the industries were using thermal power. Okay. And there was a need of an hour that initially started with large MNCs and listed companies. But now we are seeing the wave that even a smaller MSMEs are finding it very important to convert themselves to green. Though that was a problem where we thought that there is a need for power in the country. When the country is growing, the power is the key element for any industry or commercial. And again, a green power which is a cheaper source and it is free from fossil fuel. That was the idea which made us start this venture.
Okay. Shobit, what was your motivation? One thing that perhaps made you feel that this is the thing that you would like to do?
Yeah, so I think, when we started, obviously, it was not the first idea that came to our mind, but in 2011, just graduated from the college and, with not much of an experience. When we started, we believed that, obviously, sustainability is something that we were very keen at, thinking about, building a business from scratch. And in between, we found out that, in 2011, when we talk about, it was just the rooftop market, which is very, very niche market. I mean, very small market. People were not even able to understand that whether, if you put up a solar system or a renewable project, whether, I would be able to run my fans and lights or ACs in my house or not. So that was the kind of questions, were prevalent at that point of time. But I think, by 2014, when, the new government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi started, it gave a boost to this particular sector. And I think that's how, we started to understand that the industries who are the major consumers of power, they are the one who are facing one big problem, which is like, they want somebody who can give them an end-to-end solution. And that is how, it all started. And from there, obviously, we kept on innovating the new business ideas, started thinking about, understanding the problems, what exactly they need, how do we, scale up this particular business. And, that's how the journey started, and we are here in 2024.
Interesting, because that is the need of the hour. Going green today is not just fashionable, it is the need of the hour because climate change is a reality. And we have some ambitious targets as well when it comes to renewable energy capacity. We've crossed about 200 odd gigawatts, but we aim to cross 500 gigawatts by 2030. That is important for India to also, reach the top 3 economies in the world, which is also the theme of our session today. So, can you tell us a little bit about India's capability of achieving this target by 2030? Are we on track?
So if you see, this industry is almost 14 years old, and we have just done 200 gigawatts so far. But I think next balance 300 gigawatt is doable in next 5 years because the right policies are in place right now. At the same time, I say that first 14 years was just a trailer of this sector. The next thing, the big thing is still pending. And there are examples of countries like China who has done every year close to more than 60 gigawatt. And India with the right policies and right execution partners and entire value chain like us, definitely this is quite doable, and definitely the government is quite pushing. At the same time, many industries, it's not a push strategy now, it's kind of a pull strategy. As I mentioned, smaller companies like MSMEs also now want to convert themselves to green.
That's very interesting, and we'll come to that as well in just a bit. But like you said, it's just the trailer picture abhi baki hai. So Shobit, I want to ask you, in your opinion, are the current set of policies, the frameworks that we have enough for us to be able to meet that target? As you know, somebody who's a very important stakeholder in the industry, what is it that the government can really do to help us achieve that target in time?
See, I mean, if you look at, the 500 gigawatt target, I mean, I'll just, want to talk about, initially the situation what we were in 2014. So, when, Prime Minister Modi came in and with this vision of 500 gigawatt, in 2014, we were at, just 4 gigawatt of renewable installed capacity. And today we are at, cross in October 24, we crossed 200 gigawatt, which is like, when you talk about fast track to top 3 for the biggest economy. At the same time, if you look at, India has become, the top 3, number 3, biggest renewable energy producer in the world after, China and US. So I think, as far as the policy is concerned, this is the, best example of, good policy decisions, and kind of, the obligations which are being put up to meet the to meet the sustainability goals and the net zero goals. Which has, fast-tracked the development right from 4 gigawatt up to 200 gigawatt. And I think, the next big thing which we are going to see is that this year we are going to do 35 gigawatt, which is going to be the biggest year for renewable energy industry in India. And going forward with the kind of green energy open access policy which the government has brought up in June 2022 is where more than 12 states have already adopted this particular policy, and I think that this is like a booster dose or kind of a vitamin which has been given by the government to ensure that by 2030 we meet this particular target, and we are very sure that with the support of the entire industry colleagues and government, we should be able to achieve it very easily.
Clearly, a partnership is going to be very, very important between the government, the private sector, and the new companies that are also now setting up, for example, the startup space. Because if this partnership happens right now, then perhaps their DNA will have sustainability or transitioning to this renewable energy space at a very early stage in their life's journey. So what kind of a shift are you seeing right now in the industries? Like Manan also mentioned, it's no longer the push, but the pull that you are seeing from the other side that's happening, who want to transition to the clean energy space, the renewable energy space.
So I would just want to answer this, in a very simple way that what renewable energy is, just not solving the net zero problem. And, it's like, the necessity for any industry to survive. And, for any new industry to come up without renewable energy, I don't think so that, they will be able to be cost effective. They will not be able to be competitive in the market. And, I think if we are, trying to achieve the 2047 goal of being the, superpower, manufacturing is going to play a very, very critical role in this particular, goal to achieve, be a superpower. And I believe that, the second biggest, problem that we are solving by, having renewable capacities built up for industries on, as a country as a whole is the lower cost of power. Because if you look at, today, I think renewable power is the cheapest power. And, without this, we will not be able to compete with, the giants manufacturers who are sitting out in China and, other parts of the, world to manufacture and, reduce their cost of goods. Because in many industries, if you look at, more than 50 to 60% of the raw material is power. So if we solve this particular, if we continue to build up this, I think any new business, this is a mandate. And I think, the third important aspect for renewable is that, employment. I mean, if you look at, I think employment is one of the most talked about subject, whenever you, whether it is, in politics or you talk about, general public. Last year in 2023, this sector gave more than 1.02 million new jobs. And if you look at reports, it says that as far as job creation is concerned, by 2030, we will have, almost 3.5 million new jobs created out of this. And by 2047, this sector can have an opportunity to create a job creation of more than 35 million, which is like even bigger than what automotive sector has been able to do that in last 3.5 decades. So even automotive sector today employs 28 million, new jobs. But I think this sector has that potential. So I think combining these 3 points, it is extremely important that this particular targets and, for any new industries, should definitely think about it, not from the perspective of net zero, but also from the survival and also from the employment perspective.
Absolutely. Job creation is indeed a very, very important factor. And I want to understand from you, what kind of challenges do you think exist today vis-a-vis how they were when you started in the renewable energy space?
So first of all, when we started, the entire ecosystem of the technologies was not here. So we were relying on developed nations, and for manufacturing we were dependent on China. Now, if you see the end-to-end value chain in the ecosystem of the sector, it has been developed in India right now with again a good policies that have been implemented by government of India. So now for any new player, it becomes much more easier because initially to understand the technologies, we need to travel, we need to see how it works and all. But now it's much more easier. Even I say, as Shobit mentioned that initially we were asked that how will you run our factories with solar power? But now there is a stage everybody knows that how much a kilowatt would generate. So that is the awareness in the ecosystem overall. So that is one of the challenges which was there. Again, there are two biggest challenges in this sector, that is land and evacuation, which is again government is forcing and investing on different policies for land as well as for power equation. They're spending a lot to increase the substations, because this is, as you increase your renewable capacity, you need power equation facilities. So these two challenges has been solved by government and still working on it, which was a problem in way early in 2014.
As you said that, what we have seen in the last decade or so has just been the trailer. We know that this is one sector that thrives on innovation. So in the next decade, what are some of the big breakthrough ideas or innovations can one really look forward to? Can we also expect, AI in some way to come into this sector, or has it already made an entry into this sector?
So this sector is evolving in terms of technology. So if you see, this is a 500 gigawatt is a standalone demand for our power for our industries and various other needs. If you see the new technologies in terms of green hydrogen, green steam, where again the input power is renewable, where another 100 gigawatt is required in next 5 years. So new technologies in terms of integration of wind, solar, hybrid for RTC power, which is very much critical for optimizing the power evacuation facility. And at the same time, AI has started involving in our tech, where the designing of the plant can be done with the softwares in minutes, which was taking weeks time. Okay, so this kind of technologies have been started in our sector, and in coming times it will be adopted more. But mostly it will go towards designing of the plant, and there are robotic systems that will be, these are implemented for cleaning of the solar modules, and which will improve the efficiency as well as improve the efficiency of the cleaning.
That's very interesting. And what about you, Shobit? The breakthrough ideas perhaps that could drive the next decade in terms of sustainability, transitioning to renewable energy?
See, one of the, very important thing that, just Manan mentioned, that land and evacuation. So, land is something that obviously, it's beyond control. But as far as evacuation is concerned, you look at, right now we have got close to 4.8 lakh circuit kilometers of transmission network, which is available in India. But, it has to be utilized efficiently. And where the efficiency is going to come up is that, by, digitizing the grids, using AI and blockchain technologies, so that whatever is the power generated at any part of the country, which is through the green corridor, can be transmitted and, can be efficiently utilized. Because, even if you're generating, your loss levels are so high, but if you are going to implement this grid digitization, I think this is going to help in efficiency, and this is also going to help us in reducing the tariffs. So this is going to be one of the breakthrough technologies or, going forward, which can help the economy in a big way.
And one last question for both of you. Now can we safely call you veterans in this particular industry? And for those who are now trying to enter into the renewable energy space, what is that one advice that you would like to give?
So I would say we are quite young, but at the same time quite old. Quite old in the industry. This sector, I would say it's a $25 billion industry year on year. For any new player, everybody will have a share of its pie for each segment of the sector, whether it's manufacturing, EPC, or the development of the projects. Idea is to have a quality plant and which will last for 25 years. So that was what the Prozeal was built on, that because you are the partners, as you rightly mentioned, we are partners for the large industries and they don't know about solar or wind. So this life of the plant is for 25 years and it should last for that. So that's the quality of the plant, and that's very much important for any new entrepreneur who is coming in this sector.
Okay. Advice and your goal. What next for the next decade?
So I have a very simple philosophy that I think for any businesses that, we want to build it from scratch. I think one thing is that, you need to be disciplined. I think whenever I talk to my team members, I say that, however talented you are, but I think the first quality that, you should have is discipline. So I think discipline and, you have dedication towards work, you should have direction, you should know, and final is, the decision making. I think as far as the decision making is concerned, for any entrepreneurs, it is an, loud and clear message that, you need to be a little aggressive. You need to know what is the right risk to be taken. I mean, obviously risks are never wrong or right, but again, you need to take your chances, because, you cannot wait for things to happen. You need to make things happen. So I think, these are the messages. And as far as, for the next decade for Prozeal is concerned, I think definitely as a company, we currently have, 3% market share in the overall renewable space, which is what, we want to try and increase it. We want to increase. Currently, we have 18 states where we have 2 countries that we have presence. But I think, we want to make this as a global company. And we are set right to, we have this launch pad now.
Right.
And next 10 years, I think we should be across the country and any part of the world. I think, you'll hear our name as one of the top performers, as well, one of the largest renewable energy companies.
All right. We wish you good luck for that. Thank you very much, Manan.